As an e-commerce agency, we frequently work with companies that are successful in their home markets and are considering international expansion. Many are evaluating whether expanding abroad is right and which market would be most beneficial for their business. Advances in technology and the globalization of services have made this process much easier and more affordable than it was 20 or more years ago. And online stores simplifies expansion since there's no need for a physical presence immediately. Our clients recognize the immense growth potential of online stores and seek guidance from us. To provide more comprehensive support, we have partnered with Makes You Local, combining our technical expertise with their local market knowledge. You will find our details in the description. So let's start and dive into another e-commerce market.
Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of our podcast. Today as a guest we have Donatas from Lithuania, who is responsible in Makes You Local for Baltic countries. Hello Donatas.
Hey, hi everybody.
So Donatas, maybe you would say a few words about your role in the company.
Oh, all right. First of all, it's a huge pleasure to be here today and talk more about the Baltic region and the differences between the Polish and Baltic e-commerce. And my role at the company, I'm one of the owners of a company. I'm the one who started the business in Vilnius and running one of our offices. Since we have 4 offices, one of them is in Vilnius, covering the Baltic region, Poland, and 2 other markets from East Europe region. So I'm mainly responsible for the sales, for the development, and running the East Europe business at Makes You Local.
Okay, thanks for the short explanation. And in the beginning, one question appears to my mind because we've said that you're responsible for the Baltic region, for the Baltic countries region, but you're originated in Lithuania. Can we say in general that the Baltic countries, because it's very common, people say Baltic countries, Baltic region, shall we perceive it as like a group of countries which have similar aspects, or shall we perceive it each country individual? How would you say it?
Most of the time, we keep all the countries as one group of a region, right? As a Baltic region, because there are huge similarities at the e-commerce, at the customer habits and expectations when we look to Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. So usually, if I'm presenting it in Scandinavia, in Poland, in Germany, I represent it as a Baltic region with a more or less 6 million population, instead of explaining, each country separately. However, when it comes to the e-commerce projects and when it comes to the actual localizations, we're still localizing an actual separately to each market, right? To Lithuanian market, Latvian and Estonia. Not only because of the language differences, but also a small difference in e-commerce infrastructure, in the market, etc. In some habits, even if countries are very similar, but if you want to maximize, the localization and have a well localized workforce, you still have to keep it as a separate countries.
Okay, so So on one side we have a group which is I think most geographically connected, but on the other hand we need to remember that each of this country has its own rules, language, and preferences, probably.
Yes, exactly. So you could say that if any company decided to expand to Lithuania as a first step, eventually we're going to expand to the whole Baltic region. Because it will be quite easy to do the other 2 markets once you are entered the first one. However, they're not too often doing, one workshop for all 3 countries, because there's still some differences between them.
Okay, and about the Lithuania, the Polish and Lithuanians have a lot of in common, also historically, and I know very well the habits of Polish customers. Yeah, they like parcel machines. They buying instantly by Blick, or are very impatient about the delivery, so they want to have their product as soon as possible. Does the Lithuanians have the similar attitude? How would you describe it?
I would say the attitude or the expectation to the e-commerce, to the web services is similar. Maybe the Lithuanians is a bit more innovation. They can wait a bit longer, maybe, if they are informed about it. But the general habits are quite similar, right? We love to pay with our bank links to our most popular local banks, also credit cards, and right now it's getting more and more popular. Apple Pay, Google Pay, right? You don't have other mobile-based solution as you get made. Same with deliveries. Parcel machines and couriers is it two main delivery options. Parcel machines probably have a majority of the market among the smaller packages, smaller products, which is more suitable for a parcel machine. And then there are some small differences. If I'm correct, logistic companies keep your package at the parcel machine for 48 hours in Poland. Meanwhile, in Lithuania, you have 5 days or 7 days to pick it up.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So you see that the delivery method is same, but the rules is simple, a bit different, right? Same with the payments, or same, expectations that check out and the upfront, itself.
And if I asked, does the Lithuanians know any of Polish e-commerce? I mean, Polish web shops or Polish marketplace? How would you respond? Do Lithuanians buy from Poland, or even you as a also potential customer, would you buy something from a Polish shop or Polish marketplace?
Yes, I do, and I'm actually purchasing in Poland quite often for a few reasons. If you talk in general, I would say that ordinary client from Lithuania would recognize Allegra and maybe a few more stores. The large ones, right? They already recognize this CCC group, the Obuwie brand, because it's also localized in the Baltics. In Lithuania, they also have some already physical stores opened. So I don't know if everybody will recognize that it's a company from Poland, but they are already recognizing some of the brands, bigger brands, right? And obviously Allegra. However, even if they don't know many web shops, like they don't know, even if they don't recognize many brands from Poland, they still, I would say that quite many of Lithuanians are still searching for the products in Poland and still trying to purchase it from Poland for maybe two reasons, same reasons as I have for myself. Either looking for the stock availability, if that product is not available in Lithuania. More and more clients right now look for that product in the countries around. And usually it's Poland, it's Allegra, it's Amazon, eBay, of course. But also from Poland, from separate shops, they're just trying to Google and look for a product. And then they try to order from there. Also, if it's non-branded product, maybe it's produced in Poland, or maybe, there are some product categories the clients expect to find a product cheaper in Poland compared to Lithuania.
Okay.
Because there's a common business in retail, in e-commerce to do just drop shipping or retail, purchasing from Poland, selling to Lithuania by adding margin. And some clients understanding it and trying to purchase directly from Poland by themselves. So I don't know what is the percentage, but we already recognize that more and more people actually is brave enough just to look for products in Poland and order directly, if they have very clear reason. But if they take the ordinary product, a branded product which is also available In Lithuania, it could be anything, right? Adidas shoes or iPhone or any other branded product. You'll never purchase it from Poland probably or Latvia if it's available in Lithuania because of many other reasons. Security, return options, guarantee, warranty, easy payments, and so on, right? Because purchasing from Poland from not localized web shop from a product, you still have to walk extra mile and see how you could pay for them or try to contact a call center with the English language, making sure that we can deliver to Lithuania, right? So you have to go extra mile by order, and you have the reason of doing it.
Yeah, I understand. And my next question is that, as you mentioned, localization. Yeah, I know that people in Baltic countries has a high rate of knowledge of English. Yeah, a lot of people are speaking and understanding English language. But would Lithuanian person buy from the shop which is not localized and is not in their home language, for example, is in English?
Well, my question would be, what product we're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they talk about more ordinary product, which is available in a country in other web shops, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would be really hard to sell in having English language only, not in having a local language, right? Because why they're supposed to buy from English web shop, they're risking to lose their money, risking to not being able to return it, risking not knowing what is the company of, right? If you could purchase from any other local retailer that you know very well. And that's a fun fact about the English, English language, that many of people speak English, many of people understand English. But if you look to the Scandinavia, it's even a higher rate of people speaking English. I don't know where it is exactly, but it's supposed to be 95 or something, right? But when it comes to e-commerce, then it looks like nobody speaks English. Everybody wants fully localized web shop, which is convenient to use, fully localized with Swedish language or Danish language. Same way in Lithuania, people expect a convenient purchase with local language. So it's not only convenient, but it's also building a trust that the web shop actually is, or company actually invested and fully localized in a country. And that's applied for most ordinary products, unless you have something special, and unless you have iPhone for half of the price, then probably you could sell it in English as well.
Or you are a very big Chinese marketplace and you are selling for 1/10 of the price, yeah, but not mentioning the quality, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When it's not a branded product, when it's maybe not available in the country, it's super cheap, and you're not risking much. I might lose these €5. It's a cheat on me, right? But probably less people purchase from such a shop for 500 or the €500 basket or something, right? More valuable.
Yeah, I suppose. I will start because right now we will move to the section where we will discuss what should the potential customer focus on while planning the expansion to Lithuania or in general to Baltic countries. And I will start with this hot topic, which is also affecting Poland. So how has those world events like pandemic or right now the war in Ukraine affect the e-commerce market? How does it look in Lithuania and in Baltics in general?
I think it definitely affected both these events. If you take pandemic and the war, right? It had a huge effect. I think it's similar as other countries around. Pandemic, it was a huge boost for the e-commerce. E-commerce was on a steroid during the pandemic years, right? Not only that the existing web shops were selling crazy good, but also just it was eye opener for the rest of the businesses who were who were only who has their physical stores only, right? And it was just an eye opener that you have to work on the omni-channel. You have to also have some kind of online sales channel. Yeah, if it's a social media or your web shop or working on the platforms, marketplaces, and so on. So right now, the effect of it, after being a few years after the pandemic, that of course there are much more people purchasing online in general, because during the pandemic, many people were forced to purchase something online, even if they didn't before. And this habit left, right? Meaning that right now after the pandemic, the much higher percentage people of a customer, purchasing online because they got a new habit. But also companies and the businesses right now, they see the importance of e-commerce more, and if you see a new businesses coming up, after opening a physical store, we had an online channel as well. And then the war started, right? And then it had exactly opposite effect. Not from the businesses. Businesses still invest in e-commerce a lot, and also the business, as I see, there was much more companies contacting us and asking about help to localize one in new markets, because we see that as we depend a lot only on our own market, on Lithuania, and they would just want to secure a company to get the revenues, incomes from countries around, right? So we depend less on one country. However, if we look to the customers were affected by a fear of the war, a fear of not knowing what's going on next, a fear of, anything, right? So what we saw that for a year, for a previous year, especially, it was much harder to sell luxury products, more expensive products, because many people made a decision to wait a bit and not to invest to some, I don't know, a new coffee machine for €1,000, but wait a bit and look what's happening is, right now. It's all more that you're back to normal habits, right, and normal living situation. But there was a year when people feel a bit scared of all the events happening around Lithuania, in our region, right, in Ukraine, and they just parked these decisions for the pricey purchases.
Yeah, it can be fair. I understand this because we have the same trend in Poland, because we are in direct contact, we are direct neighbors of Russia. Poland is also direct neighbor of Ukraine, so we are very near this war, so I think this affected directly us as a countries more even than pandemic, because pandemic affected all of us, because it was world event, so there was delays in the delivery, there were factories which were not working and so on. And this situation, which is currently happening in Ukraine, has a direct influence, because people are scared, as you said. People don't know, because if there was a decision on invasion on Ukraine, it may be the same for Poland or Lithuania, probably, because we are very close.
Yeah, exactly. So in the directly it was affected on customer decisions, what to purchase and whatnot. I think that a huge effect indirectly through many other things, like we had a crisis of electricity prices for some time, a year or 2 years ago, right? There was some other issues with bank loans, purchasing, apartments, right, and so on, and all of that. Indirect assets also affect a decision how you're purchasing online, what you're buying, and that's why it was affected some more luxury purchases, mainly to save a bit during the last years. But right now everything going back to the normal. It's already, as we look to our clients, which is at the moment 300 clients that we work every day, and we see a really good tendency that everything getting back on track. And most of our clients has a yearly growth as we expected.
Yeah, it's good to see that trend is reversing. And talking about trends, you described a little bit how the pandemic and war, what trends were created, and if you could say how are general big trends in the e-commerce market in Lithuania and maybe in all Baltics, how does it look like at the moment?
I know it's a really wide question, right? About
yeah, I understand, but
which trend we're talking about. Exactly. So in general,
you mentioned
yeah,
omnichannel, which was created, which was the awareness rose during the pandemic. Maybe there are other aspects which are currently, going higher and higher and getting more popular.
I think with e-commerce in the Baltics, in Lithuania, it'll go the same way as it did for the last 5 years, and even higher. There's maybe different trends, if you compare country to country, right? If we look to the marketing, e-commerce marketing in general, right? There's an effect of the international players who make online marketing really expensive for the local players, for the smaller companies. Like everybody talking about the Timo for a while, and the aggressive online marketing strategy, which affects most of the companies in the local markets by increasing, AdWords and all other channels prices, so that's a bad trend, right? But that actually making a new other optional channels, more relevant, and we have a huge trend here in Lithuania on the influencers. If you compare Lithuania to other markets, to Latvia or Poland, and that's enough. We have really unique situation here in influencer marketing here in Lithuania. And there are much more people working at the influencers. They are much more powerful or influencing on their channel. Even the smaller, I don't know, any random, in every random category, you could find the influencer who actually focus just on that, and commerce could use this channel. And we don't see that, in maybe other neighbor countries, where it's more like, celebrities and others, using it as an influence channel, and in Lithuania it's really widely popular, to be the influencer. So there's one channel compared to other markets, right?
Influencer, YouTuber, it's also growing in Poland. And if we started this, I was supposed to ask this question later on, but I will jump to it.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to promote the store on Lithuanian or market, or in the general in Baltics, if you could say?
I would split that first, on what product do we have to promote, right? Let's say we have a scenario that a Polish company expand to Lithuania or to the Baltics. So if they are in the retail business, selling to well-known brands, then usually there is no secret that the Google product and Meta social media channel, it's a main channel. All the performance marketing on these channels, right? One difference that in Poland you have a Google Shop or Performance Max campaigns, which we don't have in the Baltic. We have only Google AdWords and some other products, right? So that's the one difference. Some companies supposed to know that and understand before we go into the Baltic. And then all other additional channels like right on personal sites and the newsletter strategy, right? And there's some influencer strategy and so on. But also on the other hand, if you are a brand owner from Poland, if you are a producer and you have your own brand of any product and you are expanding to the Baltics, that's probably a marketing channels, and the whole marketing strategy is very much different, So you not only do performance marketing, but you got to invest energy and the finances to the whole brand building from campaigns. And then it's maybe not only Google channels could help you, but other channels more like, a smaller channels to build your brand, social media content, influencer campaigns helps a lot, of course. So it's not all, the channels itself is quite similar to the whole Polish market, but it's a huge difference, with what product you have, right?
Yeah, and it's understandable. Yeah, each product has its own strategy. And talking about the strategy, how would you describe, if I asked you, what are the three most important differentiators of the Lithuanian market than other, which, I don't know, marketing strategies or sales strategies should include in their strategy? What would you say?
What is the most different, right, comparing to
what
the
should we
Polish
take under
market?
consideration? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not much about the marketing, but it makes sense that we can
General,
consideration that
yeah,
it's much
and
smaller. Yeah, that's a much smaller country comparing to Poland and Lithuania itself, right? 3 million versus 30 million or something,
yeah,
right?
but
It's
let's
10
say
times a
in
smaller
general
country.
about Europe, for example, yeah, from Poland or from Europe, yeah, we can say like that. Yeah, what should
Yeah,
the company look
I think
for?
many companies, as we see right now, they will face way less of the competition going forward compared to being selling in Poland or any other markets around. So, of course, by doing some analysis before going to marketing, they're supposed to notice that there are much less players in that field, in that industry that they go in, and the product prices are sometimes much higher just because of a less of a competition. Most of the prices you can find higher comparing to actually Poland or Germany. So that's actually a good thing for most of the Polish companies, because it's much easier to operate in Lithuania compared to Poland.
Okay.
Also, what we notice, that when a Polish company expanding to Germany and to Lithuania, many times we saw that Lithuania performs better, no matter that it's 10 times smaller market. It's just because of the competition environment. They could reach that, I don't know, 1,000 orders a month or 2,000 or whatever level whatever expectations we have, much easier and cheaper to operate compared to the biggest markets in Europe, like Germany and others, just because of the cheaper operation cost, like for logistic and all other partners around, right? Higher prices of a product because you don't need to play on the discounts that much as maybe in other markets, and of course a bit less on a competition, right? So we really notice that, and many clients always asking me, so if I'm expanding from Lithuania to Poland, should I expect 10 times more sales because it's 10 times bigger market? And then it's other way around, why we should expand to Lithuania is 10 times less, in the population. If you get 5,000 orders in Poland, probably will get 500 in Lithuania only. And that rule, you cannot apply that rule. Actually, many times we saw that companies from Poland sell as well in Lithuania as in the home market in Poland, just because of the higher prices, less of a competition, and the people who actually looking for these products, and maybe there's no availability to purchase somewhere else.
Yeah, it probably depends also the product, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, you're talking about, in general, but when after you look specifically to one product or another, and the story might be different, of course. The other difference Same as in Poland, you love shopping in a Polish dog shop, in a well-localized dog shop. You love shopping, with a dog shop who has a local customer support. So all that applies to Lithuania as well. Right now, many podcasts, and webinars we see talking about the globalization and it's easier to purchase from anywhere. But actually, when it comes to ordinary product, clients expect more and more personalized product and the purchase experience. Meaning, that companies still has to spend a lot of energy on being as local as possible.
And this is in general trend. We observe it also in Poland that people like to feel that they are buying at home. Yeah, they are at home, and the shop is directed to them. They feel safe. They know that it's something maybe not around the corner, but close, yeah, and makes the shopping safer for them, yeah. So if they feel safe, they buy, yeah.
That's very true. It's all about the trust. If you can trust the seller, right? So what we do also, we're not hiding that. We have this company is from Poland. This company expanded and selling to a region, to, 6 markets around. But every market is a workshop for every market, is localized fully. Every market has a local customer support in the local language, easy returns, easy delivery with well-known delivery companies that clients recognized, right? Easy payment with the options that they also recognize, and so on. And then you don't need to hide that you are from Poland or any other markets, but you have to build the trust that we walk that extra mile to make it easier for you in Lithuania or Estonia to make a food ship.
Yeah, and so we discussed what are possibilities on the market, but what are the biggest challenges that companies wanting to go to for Lithuania or for another Baltic countries may face, or where they should expect the biggest costs?
Maybe it's not about the Baltic, but about in general cross-border e-commerce. To be patient enough. When you're building the company from zero in your home market, it's okay to wait, 2 years for a first profit, right? And make a huge effort to build the company. But once it comes to expanding, right, many companies have the expectation that they'll be successful and profitable after the first month. So it's not about the Baltic, but just advice in general to be a bit more patient, maybe. And when you're expanding also, let's say, to Lithuania, it's fine to build your business strategy, and a marketing strategy which should last at least for 2 seasons, for 2 Christmas seasons, right? That on the first year, our goal is more like focus on the brand awareness, focus on the first conversions, learning how to work in the market, getting the feedback from the first customers, understand what still has to be fixed or localized or changed in the process, and then maximize, of course, the conversion rate and the sales along the way. So just in general advice, to be a bit more patient, because sometimes from our clients, we see that they had expectations to be successful a bit too fast, or they deciding that it's a fail a bit too fast, not giving a chance to prove that actually they could sell these products in a new market successfully.
Yeah, very often the managers or directors are creating, plan, and after 3 months, it doesn't go well. Also, we should abandon this idea. Yeah, we're also facing this. So I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and it's very hard to explain this to such customer. Yeah, because of course we are a technology company. Yeah, so we expand the system. We enable the option to buy in a certain country, in a certain language, in a certain currency, and we also have to answer the question why the shop is not selling. Yeah, do something. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And if you're not selling well enough, Maybe usually, most of the times it's not about the marketing effort. It's something about your product or a webshop itself. But yeah, probably the cross-border e-commerce, you have to realize that you have to adapt to the local market, not other way around, not forcing clients to adapt to your solutions, right? So on the first 6 months, what we also trying to, to understand the market and the local clients, So, in Poland, we're doing that, and it works very well. But for some reason, it doesn't work in Lithuania. And, that's why all our customer support solutions also focused a lot, not only on customer support itself, but also collecting the feedback, segmenting, different questions, and then trying to discuss internally with the clients that if you change something in your checkout, 10% of your clients will purchase faster and they will not reach the contact customer support. Yeah. And by changing that small things according to the client expectations, that's the way to a success in that market. And eventually, if you're selling in 7 markets, you could notice that every market, you're doing very differently in every market. Yeah.
And especially you mentioned that not only the marketing activities or even the shop attractivity or ergonomy is a key factor, yeah. The factor may be also the product itself, yeah. That's why you have different strategies entering the market. I know that some companies are starting with selling their products via marketplaces, which are local, to verify if their products are building interest in the customers. And then when they see that it's that the people on the certain market are buying, then are going with their own shop. So the strategies to verify is at least few, yeah.
That's true. Many companies also think this way and also do this way. First going to marketplaces. In my personal opinion, it's a good plan if they execute this plan perfectly. But most of the time, I always support and suggest go with your own channel, go with your own web shop, and then add as many sales channels as possible, all the marketplaces around in that market. So if clients find your product in the marketplace, they're still able to Google and find your own web shop, right? Branded web shop, and see the full story of the company or of a product, and then make a decision where to purchase it. Because going only to the marketplaces, there is huge benefit of many things. It's obvious, but also there's a risk of not performing well enough and think that your product is not suitable for the market, for Lithuania. But maybe you're not performing because you don't understand how to perform in the marketplace. Let's say if Lithuanian seller going to Poland to Allegro, right? Allegro is, it's already a different world, right? How to perform in Allegro successfully. You also have to be expert in Allegro itself and the marketplace business, right? How to do SEO, it's in that marketplace. How to have your accounts, if you're delivering from Lithuania, you don't get this Allegro Smart, but if you have products in Poland, you already have other options, and improve your sales, right? So sometimes it could happen that I'm making a decision not to expand because the marketplace is not performing. But sometimes it's not about the product or the business itself. Sometimes it's about that client doesn't know exactly how to work on that marketplaces, because it's not that easy anymore that you just place the product there.
Yeah, they may be really complicated, and it's not, especially that they have different sellers which are selling the same product. So it's from time to time, it's even hard to verify who's delivering this product. Yeah, especially if you look at the Amazon or another big marketplace. Yeah. So what if you could describe a little bit what's the profile of the consumer in the Lithuanian market? Is some kind of is it possible describe it? That people in this age buy this, people in this age, is it very individual there?
It's really hard to describe correctly. I think in general it's supposed to be very similar to Polish customer or any other market customer, because if you look to the statistic, usually it's very similar, the age range and the incomes and so on, right? But probably just one comment on it, that age range getting wider and wider. There are more younger customers, coming up every year, because it becomes more natural to use the e-commerce, on a more early stage, earlier. But also the customers getting also older for the e-commerce, because as solutions, it was a huge push after the pandemic, but also the solutions on e-commerce, it's getting better. It's getting easier to purchase online. It's getting more, the availability is wider also for the older customers. This is what we notice also from our client. So I can't describe exactly, the profile of a customer, which is probably, my guess is very similar to a Polish customer. But one trend I see that it's just getting wider on the age range.
Yeah, especially mobile shopping allowed that, because there are still a lot of people which are older, but they are afraid of the computer, or they are afraid to use the laptop, but they are using mobile phone every day. So even my father, which is almost 70, recently showed me that he bought clothes using the phone. Yeah, and it was something that at the first time made him a little bit stressed, but now he says that he will be doing this all the time because it's easier, and he doesn't have to go to the shop. He knows his size, so it's very easy. Yeah, you pick your phone, you make 2 clicks, and you have clothes at home.
Yeah, but a fun fact also, what we noticed from a customer support at the company, that more and more older people, they just give a call and say, I see this product online, can you make a purchase for me, Companies allowed to do that. They're able also to do that, client and describe a product you see, identified by a SKU code or something, right? And then he just say the address and everything, and we make a cash on delivery as the place the order for the client. And it's getting more and more popular, actually, among the older people, or maybe some product categories that companies totally allow doing that, and people also, doing it more freely, So I don't know if it's full e-commerce, but but people ordering on the phones like that.
Yeah, we observe it in Poland, for example, in electronics. Yeah, even the biggest players for the electronics market, they are making campaigns, call us and buy by phone. Yeah, so you see the television set on the billboard, and you are calling the number and saying, I want that TV, and it's possible. Yeah. Of course, in the background, very often there is an account created in the system. Yeah. And you can verify the order, for example, and log in and check it. But I believe there are also channels that you do it without it. Yeah. So yeah, and I think it's also a step forward to the people which are older and are still afraid of these electronic devices.
Yeah.
And if you would, while we are talking about customers or end consumers, what services are preferred? What they are expecting to have right now? What they are used to in Lithuania? What is the so-called standard? I don't know. I don't like this word, but because everyone has its own standard, but how it is perceived in Lithuania?
Services, you mean that?
So shop need to have, yeah. No, I mean that for them is a decision maker if I buy here or not.
Well, starting from the obvious, right? The payment, logistic, and the terms. I think that's the main one, and critical one, to get it right in the place. So the payments, probably a local bank links or maybe you call it, internet banking, that you just select your bank and you will transfer it to your personal bank to make just to approve a purchase. A credit cards, and cash on delivery. That's probably the main three ones, right? Yeah, and also different. There is different in the industries, but usually that's a main ones. A logistic, the split between the parcel machines and a courier. Usually, we prefer to have both options, and even better if you have the main 3 or 4 delivery companies options to choose from. In Lithuania, we have only 4 or 5 main companies who are providing logistics to e-commerce, right? So it's really nice, and when a web shop offers options from 2 or 3 different companies on the parcel machines and the couriers, because all the parcel machines, have different addresses, and then you just choose, maybe which is most convenient for you. And when the returns, we got a general rules, same as in all Europe, on the return time and so on. But I see that the companies, trying to walk extra mile and getting, longer time to return, easier way to return, usually it's free of charge of the returns with local addresses, or company just sending a courier to pick up a return, or have an option, just to drop a package to the parcel machines and forget about it. Not asking client to do any other efforts, to pack a product, to send to some address, to pay for the returns, right? So that's it, probably 3 the main ones, right? And then it comes all additional on social media. Social media also is a social proof, if company is active in a market, if it has a local content, if you can find any local comments from other customers, it just build a huge trust of a web shop if you see it for the first time, right? It's not that popular, solutions like Trustpilot or other reviews, apps. So majority of the reviews is check on social media.
Okay.
Yeah. And what other services we could think of? And probably a local customer support. It's number 4 or 5. That it's what it must to have. It's not enough to have a phone. It's not enough to have just an email address, and we reply you sometime. It's not okay to ask the contact company in English or other language than the local language, like the native language, right? So it's also our approach, is to give the customers, all possible options to contact, company. Usually it's a phone, emails, a live chat, a chatbot, a social media messengers. So every customer has their preferences, how it's easier to contact. What else it could be, expectations of the services. And then probably the main one is the delivery time. It's not about the delivery company itself, but the delivery time to keep your promises, right? If you say that this product will be delivered in 3 days, and client actually expect you to deliver in 3 days, and on the 4th day you'll get a call asking about your order. But if it's okay to if you have a product which is okay to deliver in 2 weeks, if you are selling some furniture or something which is not available in a showroom, and you have to do some jobs, you can so clients are okay to wait for both 2 weeks. This is what you told them, and this is what we expect. But we expect to get it in 2 weeks, not in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, right? So just keep your word and deliver as you promised.
And build the trust, as you mentioned, yeah.
Yes.
And mobile apps, for example. Sorry to interrupt. We had a little.
No, mobile apps. Of course, if you look at the stats, if you look at the analytics, and the main browsers on the mobile.
Mm-hmm.
So it's mobile version. It's not a mobile
Mobile
app.
version rather than mobile app, yeah?
Exactly. I know that mobile app is more popular in Poland or among the bigger e-commerce players, but it's not that popular yet in Lithuania. So of course the bigger player has it. The marketplaces, some retailers from Poland or Germany, the largest players. But the local players, it's not the first thing that they invest to.
So you mentioned all those services a little bit general. I would like to dig in some of them. I mean, especially payment and delivery methods. For example, in Poland, very popular currently is this method that buy now, pay 30 days later. Is it also popular in Lithuania?
For some products, yes. For more expensive product, yes. But not as popular as in maybe Sweden or Poland, as I heard.
Yeah, and
So yeah.
talking about the payment methods, do consumers prefer those local banks or local methods in general, payment or delivery, or mostly they are used those big players as you named it, so the global companies like, for example, ADN for PayPal or for paying, or these couriers like DHL, DPD, and so on.
No, it's mainly going through a local players, through local suppliers. All these services, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And with the returns, you mentioned that you apply to those European rules, so probably you also have this 14 days policy. You mentioned that some shops are extending it. We also observe it in Poland, but how do you see this trend? Because fashion companies especially are declaring that this is a huge problem for them, that people are buying a lot of stuff, then returning it. The return goods are not always in a good shape, so they need to be destroyed. So it's a kind of financial and on the other hand ecological issue. Yeah, so some of them decide to make it harder, or even that you have to pay for their returns. How the policy looks like in Lithuania?
Maybe we don't have exactly the same issue as these large companies. I know that we had a huge issues, with the larger players like Zalando and so on, right? So probably we had the same issue, just at a smaller scale. So I know that fashion companies really struggling with that, getting a lot of returns, not being able to resell it again, or that we are forced to order all possible sizes, but we're not selling all of them, just the main one, right? And somewhere we have to somehow sell the smallest and then the larger. So I see that company has this challenge, but I don't see that they doing something to prevent it, right? Something like you mentioned, making the expensive return policy, and so on. So probably it's still able to deal it internally, one way or another. But we noticed that on an international player, on a biggest player, who actually offer this free of charge returns, and suddenly they change the rules, that it's not free anymore. Or who is reducing the time on when you can return, that is first they offer 1 year time, and right now they are back to 40 days or 1 month, right? So we see that this trend on the largest players in Europe, also around the Baltic, but not among the local players, because the local player is not that large. They have a same issue, but on a smaller scale, and they should deal with that inside the companies promptly.
Yeah, I think in the beginning it will affect only those biggest, but we can observe even in Poland that if not paid, then the procedure is a little bit more complicated. Yeah, earlier it was one step, one click, and you can return. Now you have to fill in very complicated formula, print it, and so on and so on. So that's why I was asking. And a very important aspect of going into the market is translations. Yeah. How is this anything that should be paid attention, especially in Lithuania in this translation? I know that is one of the main services you have also as makes you local, so you probably know a lot in this area.
That's one of our main services as well, and that's one thing that also changing a lot currently. So earlier, it was quite simple. That there was a translator who is doing the job, translating all the content. Right now we're also becoming more as a technology company, and especially on the translations, there's a huge impact on all the technologies and the tools that you're using, which allows us to do it much, much cheaper and much faster, with the same results. But translation is one of the things on the localization that usually you have to do, right? And that translation company is supposed to see it, that on e-commerce on the website, you have a different type of the content, which require a different solution for the translation itself, right? And you could just have an example like a translation for the products. If it's a well-known product, it's the one way of doing the translations of the products. A web shop and all the content is, it has to be translated and localized professionally. So it's not just about the translation; it's also your delivery terms. We have to talk about delivery terms in Lithuania, but not be translated from Polish only. If you talk to your categories and the category descriptions, it's already a marketing text, as you treat it this way, right? That it has to be included, the right keywords, and so on, right? So it's just a few examples that we have 3 different content, which already require different competences and a different way of translating it. And this is what we're also trying to do, to find the right solution for each content. If you need a translator with the marketing knowledge or e-commerce knowledge to do your category descriptions, including keywords. If you're translating a checkout and all the, as you call it, system translations, every button and so on. Then the translator is supposed to understand the e-commerce and expectation, what keyword has to be chosen on each step, what client is expect, right? Because I don't know if you notice, sometimes you see the local text and it sounds correct, but it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Because you understand what it means, but on e-commerce, everybody using a slightly different keyword or phrases and so on, right? And when it comes to some blog articles, when again, first question is, why are you doing it? Is it for SEO purposes, or is it for a brand awareness purposes, explaining more your services and the products and how to use it, and so on. So we could also understand if you need a top quality of the translations of that material, or it could be also a machine translation or any other kind of, right? So right now also we at Makes You Local, developing a lot. Our main focus was to launch new tools of the translation, which is based a lot on AI engine, which require way less time for us to deliver a highest quality of translations for much less investment. So that's why I said that on the last few years, because of all the technology grow and AI appear, the translation was touched the most because of all the evolution of that. So, but when that Polish company considering expanding to the Baltic, they we know that they have to do a translation, they have to have a local material. And then you see, what solution is supposed to be used on what material to make it also understanding the business, understanding the investment, and choosing the solution. Because if you have 100,000 products in stock, and maybe it's very well-known brand, everybody knows what they're purchasing. Maybe you don't have to translate everything of it. Maybe there's a different strategies to doing and reducing your first investment on the localization. So that's just a more example.
You said top quality translation. I suppose it include also the human verification, because
Yes.
Lithuanian language, Latvian language, Estonian language, same as Polish, is not the most popular language in the world. So this automated machine translations, like for example Google Translate or Deep or even AI, very often make errors, especially those grammar errors. So I suppose that going into the Baltics also, it would be worth to invest in this top quality translation verified by a living person.
Exactly. Yeah. So not all the texts require that, but you definitely have to do it also on some materials.
Okay, so we have a store, we have the translation, we've done all. You said that you have to be patient, but what should the Polish shop owner or any shop owner entering the market see as a red flag when the localization was made, the shop is functioning? What should be perceived as a red flag for such a shop owner in your region?
Okay, so first challenge, not a red flag maybe, but the main challenge is the logistics. Because between Poland and Baltic, there's still not too many companies who are doing the logistic in a way that you could do business, in a way that it's not too expensive to do to work with, right, on a B2C level. The good news is that every year we find more and more companies doing that, developing the infrastructure on the logistic between the Baltic and Poland. Right now, the main players already doing it. But again, if you take a logistic option between Poland and Czech Republic, or between Lithuania and Latvia, it's no brainer, it's super easy. Almost all players in the logistic, have these options, right? And then for some reasons, logistic between the Baltic and Poland it's not that developed yet as well. So one thing what we're doing, before we localize in the workshop, we just check the logistic availabilities, we check the pricing, the timing, if you can deliver it 2 days or 3 or 5 and why, just to make sure that it's not a problem in the future. And if you're delivering a phone, it's maybe one story. If you're delivering the furnitures, it's a different story, right? So that's one of a challenge we usually notice. The other challenge probably that in Poland you have many brand owners, meaning producers who's developing their own brand in the food, in the furnitures, in the many industries, right? And then most companies expanding, they have a huge unique selling points on their collections, on their pricing, on many things. But they have to remember that they have that nobody knows them in the Baltics, right? So and the challenge is to be patient enough and to work enough on your brand awareness to make it work. So it's not about the market itself, about what we discussed earlier, to build that brand in Lithuania or in any other market. Other red flags, I'm not probably there's no red flags. Differences like in the Eurozone we got euro as a currency. Sometimes it's never a challenge. It's something to understand it and adapt during the localization, right? Yeah. Now, I would say there are more red flags other way around when the Baltic company expanding to Poland. Instead of, there are more red flags doing this because of the Polish competition, because of the Polish local price level, because of how easy it is to establish a local company or get a local VAT code or get a local bank account. All that is possible to do, but it's just easier and faster to do it in Lithuania than compared to do that in Poland. So actually, yeah, no, I have more than sense going to Poland, but not outside of Poland.
But not to scare, it's possible, and we encourage to do that, of course.
Definitely. And of course, I mean, it's just harder. It's not impossible. We see plenty of international companies selling in Poland, very successfully, and many of them also from Lithuania. But it's just something that we always raise as a question to discuss, to go through every aspect and discuss it. If we could match the price, if we could match logistic expectations, if we could do this and that, if we should consider go to Allegro or not, so we always do this checklist. And that checklist is a bit longer if you're going to Poland instead of going to Italy.
And you mentioned also that your law or legal topics are quite similar, like in the Europe. Is it something that potential company which wants to enter the Lithuanian or Baltic market should take into the consideration according to legal laws? Are there any aspects very important which are totally different there? How would you describe it?
I would describe it as a, quite easy question for the companies. I think that you in Poland have more strict rules and more maybe local laws that you could, match. And meanwhile in Lithuania we have more, we Poland more the basic Europe Union laws for the e-commerce. And a few things which is more based for the local market from Lithuanian laws. But I see it way less as a challenge in Baltic than in some other markets like Poland, Germany, Sweden, because you guys, you are more strict on this. And you have more different things to match, So of course we have many similar things, but they are more on a, Europe Union law level. What applies for GDPR, what applies for returns, what applies for, the terms and conditions, privacy policy, cookie policy, and so on.
But in the European Union are also the distinctions, when you take a look at the German restrictions, for example, they are far more strict than in Poland, for example, but it's good to know that in Lithuania, this area is more flexible, more available.
This is a way how I see it, Maybe the lawyer from the law firm, will argue for that. But this is how I see it. This when we localize a company from Poland to the Baltics, they still read you all the legal documents like terms and conditions, privacy policy, and cookie policy. So it would follow, a local law. But the challenge of that, preparing that legal documents, it's a bigger challenge to do that in Germany. Also in Poland, compared to Baltic.
Yeah, but there, as far as I'm concerned, there is no exclamation marks. That I have a shop in Poland, I go to Lithuania. Oh, I need to remember that this and this and this. No, if I, in general, have these rules, the European rules applied to my shop, I shouldn't be surprised. In Lithuania.
For majority, and of course, when you get some product or some industries. But there's central rules for food products, food supplements, and so on, right? And sometimes you have some certificate for a food supplement, which applies in Poland. but in order to sell to Lithuania, you have to get the certification in Lithuania, right? Some
Okay.
notifications and so on. So there are always exceptions, but that exceptions also comes in other markets as well. So usually, clients already aware about it, that I got to do these actions in order to sell in Poland. So I already expect that it will take some energy in Lithuania to do the same or similar actions in order to get these certifications. Yeah, but for the majority of categories of the products, it's quite okay. It's quite easy.
So in general, if client is not aware, then you will help him. Yeah, while analyzing the possibilities of localization for the customers, you as Makes You Local also are supporting in this area. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Okay, so last question. We can observe in each region the seasons, yeah? So we have the Christmas season, we have vacation season, we have Black Friday. Is the Lithuania somehow different, or in general Baltics? Should the shop owner be aware that there are any special moments that it's better to sell or it's better not to sell? How would you describe it?
Yeah. Again, everybody knows their own season because of a product, right? If your high season is Christmas or spring, but in general, looking to the market, the most active months are starting with September till January, and then from end of February till May. So we have two main season, of course. As we call Christmas season and the spring season. Black Friday is getting bigger and bigger every year in the market. It's not as big, as Germany or Scandinavia or United States, but it's getting more and more popular. It's also on the early stage. Any other sales events like a Cyber Monday and so on, it's getting popular, but it's definitely not at the same level as in some other markets. So I would say that July, and the summer season in general are a bit lower in the Baltics, in Lithuania maybe, but I expect that in most of the markets, just because of the customers are on vacations and maybe spending less on online, and so nothing is not a big difference probably in the season. Yeah, but again, when we look to each product category differently, and then you see that okay, you have a back to school season,
Okay.
or you have to your outlet. So January and February is the best month for you, after sales, after Christmas, and so on.
And any particular, just maybe as some kind of fun fact or something, any particular holiday that you know that exists, for example, in Lithuania or in other country, and you haven't heard about it in another country?
Actually, what we see that it works and affects the sales, some days off and other, national celebration in a country like we have, Mother Day, Father Day, some other days off that actually works very, very well for the e-commerce. 14th of February, we call it as a long day, and that it gives a huge push for the e-commerce.
Uh-huh.
So of course it's far from the Black Friday itself, but that's also what we focus, at Makes You Local. We call it, we have annual marketing wheel. You could just subscribe and get the notifications and newsletters every month, or on a quarter basis, with the most important dates in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see, okay, in Lithuania they have these 2 days off on August. and we're celebrating something, St. John Day on June, right? And then we could personalize a marketing for that, or we could expect that outdoor products will be more interested, and you could do some sale related to that. And so we're doing that, for our clients. It's sending all these reminders. Everybody could subscribe on our website actually, and get the most important dates from all the markets, the majority of markets in Europe, and try to personalize their marketing, or sales activities based on that, because we just see that it actually works. It makes sense to put effort and do more personalized sales.
Yeah, I suppose, because we can see, especially if you buy a few calendars and you have it at home, you can see very strange days. Like it's a day for my industry, day of a programmer, day of this, day of that, and in marketing or in the sales, you can use it, and get into the special group of buyers, directing the campaigns to them. It's like I suppose each country has their own,
Yeah, exactly. And if you go to really small details, we also notice that, I know, when the season starts, and like a spring season, we noticed that a year ago, a spring season started, instead of March, it started on April, almost a month later, just because of the weather, like we had a lot of snow for the whole of March, and exactly opposite happened this year, So, and that, going into really small details, and if you want to, maximize your results in a country, you even have to take in consideration such things that, it's still raining in Estonia. That's why we are low on sales,
Yeah. Okay, Donatas, thanks a lot. A big load of knowledge today. So I hope our listeners or viewers, which are considering Baltics as their target, will have enough information to make the decision. If not, we advise to contact us. The contact details to me or to Donatas or to our companies will be presented in the description of this video. So once again, Donatas, thanks for your time. It was really nice talking to you, and I hope we will see each other in further initiatives.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So till next time, bye.